Got into coaching by accident. I started just coming when I could, and I loved it. So I've been coaching now. This is my 17th year total.
What's the goal of a wrestling match?
Pin your opponent. Doesn't matter what the score is. If you can put both of those shoulders on the mat for a pin, the match is over and you're the winner. Every match starts off with two wrestlers in the standing position. They call it the neutral position. No one has an advantage yet. So if you can take your opponent from the standing position and knock him down to the ground pretty much and take control of him on the mat, that's called a takedown, and you get 2 points for that. On the mat, if you can start from that bottom position and just completely get away from your opponent, and you're back to that neutral position again, you get 1 point for it. That's called an escape. If you can go from the bottom position directly to the top position without there really being a break in the action, that's called a reversal. That's worth 2 points. And then if you can almost pin your opponent, but you don't quite get him all the way down, you can get what we call near fall points. So it's almost a pin. If you get the shoulders tilted towards an angle that's less than 45 degrees, so almost to the mat, then the ref will start counting. If he counts to 2, you get 2 points. If he counts to 5, you get 3 points. We've seen pins that are 7 seconds. But if there's not a pin, it usually goes the full 6 minutes. If it's still tied after 6 minutes, it can go to overtime, which would add at least 1 minute to that, and potentially could last up to 8.5 minutes if they go to triple overtime.
How do teams win points during the match?
Yeah, that's one aspect of wrestling I think is pretty cool. It's unique in that your action in the mat does relate to the team score. So at the end of a match, if there's a winner by points, you can get 3 to 5 points for your team. So if I win by up to 7 points, my team will earn 3 points in the team score. If I win by between 8 and 14 points, that's called a major decision. That's worth 4 points for your team. If at any point in the match you get up by 15 points or more, that's called a technical fall, and the match will just stop at that point. It's kind of like a mercy rule, I guess, and that's worth 5 points for your team. And if there's a pin or a forfeit, those are worth 6 points. There's 14 weight classes, so at the end, a team will have more points than the other, and they're called the winners. There's always strategy of how do we line up our best series of 14 weights, so it will very frequently change each match. Weight cutting has been a pretty big topic over the past few years. 20, 30 years ago, you could weigh in the night before a match and then wrestle the next day. Now you weigh in 1 hour before the match. So that, I think that forces people to be a lot healthier now, diet a little bit better, and wrestle at a weight class that's a lot more closer to what you're walking around at every day. We work out or compete 6 days a week. On Mondays, we always get a very heavy lift in. Wednesdays or Thursdays, we'll kind of do some review, mix in some circuits, maybe 20 or 30 minutes of pull-ups, push-ups, squats, jump ropes, hops to build up our cardio. Maybe Wednesdays we'll do 30 minutes of live wrestling to put some of those new techniques into real practice in like more match-like situations. And if we have like a tournament or a match on a Saturday, we'll usually use that day before, that Friday, as kind of just like a review of everything that we've been doing recently. We mix in some games here and there to try to lighten the mood and keep it fun. We're always trying to do something different all season long. So even if that's the basic format, we never do the same workout twice the entire season. We also do a lot of like mental preparation training too. So we'll I give out what's called wrestling homework. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it does require them to put some thought into how they're going to wrestle. So for example, some of our wrestling homeworks where we have these things called drill cards, just an index card with like the 10 most common positions that they might get into. And I had them write down, what are they going to do in that situation? So some of their homework is to visualize that one time through every single night before they go to bed. Usually that helps a lot because if you don't really understand the technique, you don't really have it down yet, you have a tough time visualizing. So once I get that feedback from kids, then we can kind of work through those positions and practice a little bit more. I had them write down kind of like a reaction tree. So if opponent does X, I do Y. So they're, again, mentally preparing and getting just mentally organized so that when a match situation comes up, if you grab my wrist, I've already written that down. I've already thought about it. Now I can just react. First practice is November 15th, and the varsity state tournament is the first weekend in March. So it's a long season.
We have kids that come in all shapes and sizes. You work your butt off, you get good, and you can find your spot on the team,
I think a big misconception people have is that they can just kind of walk on the team and it'll be like any other sport they've ever played. But wrestling is really different, where success is really personal, where it's all on you to actually win your match, but also you have to consider the success of the team.
I feel like a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with the sport because of how difficult it can be. But once you step out of this room and step on the mat for an official match, you just get like a rush of emotions that you've never felt before. So I would say wrestling is a very complex sport. It would benefit anyone to try it out.
I don't know anyone who watches a couple matches and like, this sport's really fun and really cool. So I'd encourage any student watching this to come to a match and check us out, because it's pretty fun. Wrestling is the oldest sport on the planet. It's been in the Olympics since the very first Olympics. It's gaining in popularity quite a bit here in the US, and we have a really good team here at Blair. So if students come and check us out, I think they'll really enjoy it.